On today's show, have you ever tried to help your parents with technology? I think we can all agree it's a soul-sucking experience. And Maddie Potts' beautiful mother calls in today to tell us how she absolutely broke his soul last night trying to figure out Skype. Plus, Belly said something as the bartender to a couple on a first date that you will not believe. How does this kid get away with this? Plus, we've got a surprise for you. And Potts. It's sure to put a smile on his face. I'm excited to unveil it to him. It's all up next. Stay right there and strap it on, folks, right here from TTR Studios. It's Lucdogg in the morning. Belly!
Blue, you're the boy!
And now,
That's all you want. I'm the one who's gonna be on TV.
from TTR Studios,
I can't quite remember how that one goes. I gotta admit, I'm a little high. No, Peggy, I'm cool.
it's Lucdogg in the morning.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Skater D.
Hey, I'm John Charles Meyer, producer of Dave Made a Maze.
Hey, what's up? This is Scott Ladotti, author of Play the Devil, and you are listening to Lucdogg.
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 This is Andy fucking Cruz from SiriusXM 415, and you're listening to Lucdogg in the morning.
#1 podcast in the world. Yeah, boy.
Welcome back, folks. It is Lucdogg in the morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. Belly's waking up. I got a whole bunch for him. Let's go. So welcome to the show, my wonderful friends. How are we feeling on a wonderful Wednesday? Thank you for hanging out and waking up again with us right here at TTR Studios. It's Lucdogg in the morning, and Belly, Matt LaBelle, the producer, across the stage. How are you today, sir?
I'm awake.
You are awake. Maybe.
Maybe.
Worst intro ever. I'm putting it right on your lap, but you know what? It's okay, because
Yep.
it's my fault for introducing something new 30 seconds before a show starts.
And then I have to transition the screens before the show starts.
We need an
and
intern. Potts from the Santa Monica newsroom. What's up, bud?
Greetings and salutations. What's up?
Are you also in a mood? I can't have all three people in a mood this week.
Coffee destroyed his floor.
Pretty annoyed.
What happened to you? Your headphones, Potts, they're broken? Your coffee just destroyed your
No,
floor?
I don't even care. I'm over that. But yeah, I'm out of coffee pods. I had to go down to 7-Eleven. I got this big coffee. I was all stoked, and I friggin' turned my chair, knocked the whole fucking thing over, all over my damn floor. I'm just.
So are you
annoyed.
coffeeless now? Is that the thing? Like you don't even have an espresso?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
All right.
We know how it is with no coffee.
Yeah, well, that's rough. All right, well, let's start off with something that I think is funny because, obviously, that's what we do here. Thank you for hanging out, all of you on the live chat. TTR Studios is where you go, and then you can just chat along with the social media lounge. You can also text in or call with any of your input, 571-354-7338. One more time, it's 571-354-7338. Potts, I just found something that will now allow our phone callers to hear from you. How do you feel about that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a long time
So-
coming. We need that.
Why didn't you tell me that when I just spent the last
What?
4 days?
Because it's on. Well, because
trying
of
to get my mom to do it.
because of the struggle that I heard in your voice and your texts and the screen caps that you were showing us from your mom's conversation. I just was like, oh my god, I'll spend $300 to make sure that he never.
$300.
That's what it's going to cost.
What?
Yeah, it's going to cost $300. That's cheap, dude. These systems cost $3,000.
But
I found a
there's
workaround.
No reason why people can't Skype. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, but then we want to have live callers too, and we want to have you be able to speak to them. So right now, if you guys call in 571-354-7338, you won't be able to talk to Potts. He can hear you, but you can't hear him. And I'm going to fix that for $300 because I found a little bit of a workaround. So don't worry, bud. I got you. But I mean, we were talking. It got us talking because like every September we start fantasy football. I call my dad and I carve out at least an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and a half, something like that. That's going to take just to get him to remember how to sign on to ESPN.com.
Yep.
And I love him to death. His sister is Potts' mother. Potts and I are cousins. I already had my dad come on one time and tell a story about his sister, Potts' mom. So we wanted to have Potts' mom come on today and tell a childhood embarrassing story about my dad. But Jesus Christ, we couldn't get her on Skype. Potts, tell us what happened.
I mean, I can read what I'll just read you my mom's responses if I can even. I don't even know.
While you're pulling that
up,
before you do, hold on. Before you do, I just want to lead this off with, this is Nasim Pedrad. Do you know who that is? Is she an actress on Conan?
She's on SNL.
Oh, okay.
She's on SNL. She was doing an interview on Conan, and she goes through the exact same experience that we're talking about. And I got to be honest, you play this bit, and then I will read you my mom's text. It's literally almost exactly the same.
I wrote it down. For the next half hour, these were the questions my father asked me. I'll just read them to you. How do you download an app? There's an Apple Store on my phone. Where? What do you mean on the screen of my phone? Okay, I'm in. How do I know my password? Do you know it? Why don't you know it? Now what? How does the Uber driver know to pick me up? Can he see me? Who is he? Do I text him first or does he text me? Oh, he's not on his way yet because I have to open an account first? How? How do I do that? What do you mean, what does the screen say? What do you mean, what do I mean? Hey, should I do this software update real quick? A what? A screen what? What the heck is a screen grab? How? How do I take one? How? What? How? What? 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 How? Hold down what at the same time? Which button? How? And literally for the next 5 minutes, I tried explaining to him how to take a screen grab, which then devolved into a mind-blowing conversation about what a button is.
How good is that? I mean, like, we can all relate, right? Like, my dad is the same way. It's literally like, wait a minute, I don't know the password. How am I supposed to know the password? Do you remember it? And I'm like, no, no, I don't remember your password, bud.
I mean, literally, my mom, how can I get online? I'm on my phone. I opened the app and it said I don't have an account set up. How do I log on? But how do I find sign-in page? Is it free? When I hit the Skype icon, a sign-in does not come up. How do I take a screenshot? So what do I do now? Can I go to the phone store tomorrow and ask them?
Oh, my God.
Auntie Maria. By the way, I said, no, you can't do that because they will laugh at you. I see the picture you sent, but it doesn't come up. Give me time to figure this out. And yeah, then I texted you and I was like, I give up. So figure it out. I've
had this experience with my parents too. Of course, my mom has called me when I was away at college. My mom had called me in the middle of the night one night because she had switched the inputs on her TV, and every time she switches the input, she cannot figure out how to get back to the main input.
Right.
So that she can either go to the DVD player or go to the TV. Every time she switches it, it's this tragedy where she can't get back.
And I don't want to blame him because, stuff's going to come out and we're going to be older and we're going to be like, where's my iPhone? And that's going to be archaic, But
so my mom's been a teacher for like over 3 decades, teaching the youth of America. And she doesn't know how to use an app. She does not know how to use it. She doesn't know how to open an app.
Okay, but I'll tell you what, I'll ask her this. If you put her in, that's because she's in a comfort of her own classroom, in her own curriculum. She knows.
She's not calling in today. She doesn't have Skype.
I know. I'm going to call her on the phone like we discussed.
Why?
Why not?
No, she can't hear me. I don't want to call my mom, and I can't hear. That defeats the entire purpose.
Oh, all right.
That was what I was saying.
That's not how that texting chain went last night. Is it? Am I wrong? I thought we were calling her today.
View it.
We don't have to.
I don't want to call her live. It'll be a nightmare. It will just be a hot mess.
Wouldn't that be amazing, though, to hear the nightmare of your mom talking to us?
Where's Maddie?
Yeah, without you being able to talk, it'd be great.
No, that's the problem. It will not make any sense because she won't understand. And I don't think she's awake. She doesn't think we're calling in because she couldn't figure out Skype.
And my dad made a comment about this. It's not that he doesn't know what to do. It's just that he gets so flustered with all the things that he's probably going to have to go through, all these hoops that he's going to have to jump through just to get on this stupid website. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But like, all that stuff you talk to me about, like financial planning and like looking for the future and like making life easier down the road, just write your password down right now. So next year we don't have to do this.
My mom has a book.
Like, that's amazing. It's amazing. Just remember it. And of course, my dad is a huge Howard Stern fan. Mm-hmm. So he loves to come up.
He?
Oh, yeah. Like, huge. You guys could nerd out for days over it. I mean, his team name in our league was Mama Look a Booba Day.
I missed that completely. That's awesome.
Do you know that character?
Yeah, it's his original. It's like one of his original characters.
Can you explain it to the listeners? Because I had no idea. I'm not a Stern fan.
It was he did. I mean, it was kind of racist.
Yeah, it was very.
I think he was like acting like a African American female, but and she was like on a helicopter and she was doing like weather and stuff.
But he was doing
funny,
like black voice, like, oh yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, he was like really getting into it.
It's raining sideways.
This is Mama Look a Booba Day. It's raining sideways.
You'd hear like a helicopter in the background, and it was he was like, I'm flying over streets, and he was doing, I think he was doing traffic reports or something. But I mean, you're going back over 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't. I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. And oh, by the way, he's spelling it wrong. That was the problem. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you spelled Mama Look a Booba Day, dude. I love my dad to death, and I was really hoping to get his sister on the air today.
Well, when do you ever see the words like that spelled out?
Right?
When you're listening to radio.
Never.
You could start making up words too, and people would know how to spell them.
That's a very good point. It's however Mama Look a Booba Day sounded in his head.
Yeah.
Phonetically. And that to another, just to move off of this, because I don't want to just sit here and I'm not bashing older folks. It's really funny to me. Everybody knows it. It's a connection point for anybody that's our age in your 30s or even 20s. Just the parents that just freak out over the smallest piece of technology that they don't yet understand. However, I went to a movie last night. This process, like we were just saying, it's however he saw Mama Look a Booba Day in his head. I saw the movie A Wrinkle in Time. Now, Belly was just kind of like, okay, dude, good choice.
Yeah, as he was leaving.
That one's on you.
That one looked terrible.
Do you know of the movie, Potz?
No, but the name sounds fucking horrific.
It's my favorite book as a child. It was a childhood, novel. So, like, you got to be like 10 or 12.
So it's a kid's movie.
Kind of like it is definitely a kid's movie.
By Disney.
But it's about time travel and like warping dimensions and stuff. So it's not like, it's kind of Harry Potter-y, where it's like got deeper like overtones
it's like
or undertones.
Tomorrowland.
Yeah, but it's not, Alice in Wonderland with just, the Jabberwocky is the scariest thing. I mean, it actually scared the shit out of me, the Jabberwocky as a kid. However, it's a childhood book with deeper thoughts and ideals in them, like folding a time-space continuum so that you can get through the fold and making a wrinkle in time so that you can jump through basically time travel. But it's made for like 10-year-olds. However, I'm white. And for whatever reason, when I'm reading this book as a child and then again as an adult, I always pictured all the characters to be white. I hope that's not racist. It's just that's what happened.
Isn't there descriptory words
Absolutely
to describe
not.
the characters?
Absolutely not.
What?
And so in the movie, they're black.
Sounds like a terrible
in the
book.
movie, they're black. They're actually mixed. It's a white father and a black mother, and it's actually directed by a black female, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's great.
However, boy, was that a mind fuck when I'm like, wait, Meg's black?
I don't know if there was. There has to be
There's not.
words to
think
help
about a book
draw
you've
the
read.
image.
Do you think that the character is described as white or black?
Yes.
Never.
Characters
Never.
are described in books so you can create imagery in your head.
Not
if you
with
don't
skin
describe,
tone. Not with skin tone.
Yeah, I'm not sure they
think about it.
Call out skin
or
ethnicity all that much, especially in a kid's book.
It was fascinating to me to be like, wait a minute, who's that? Is that Meg? That's Meg? She's black? This is cool. Like, at first, it was like, whoa. I mean, it took me, but it really did take me out of it at first because I'm expecting all these characters, and that's cool. All right, we're going to take it down that way. However, completely unrelated. I only thought of that because of the Mama Look a Booba Day and what a mind warp it is when somebody has something in their head, and then they show it to you, and you're like, well, that's not how I had it in my head.
Yeah.
But, oh, boy, was this an awful movie. It was awful. Awful.
It looked bad.
And from the guy who was, dude, it's my favorite book. This book sucks. Or, I mean, the movie sucks. So slow. Couldn't care less about the characters. And I'm on a date while I'm doing it. So, while I'm watching it. So, I'm like trying to hope that she doesn't hate it.
Maybe you both hate it and you can agree on it.
Wait, what? Tell us about the date. Was this a first date?
It was a second date. I was set up with somebody from my mom.
Yeah, this is a setup.
My mom knows another teacher and set me up with her daughter. Awesome.
Okay.
So the girl has all the inside info on the Luch.
The girl says to me on the first date, so, I hear you like to date Latino women because they're a lot more family-centric.
Family-oriented?
My response was, what the hell is my mom telling your mom about that for?
How do you know?
How do you know that one? That's so deep.
So what did you say? How did you know that one?
That's exactly what I said. What the hell is my mom doing talking to your mom about my family, my female preferences? Jesus. But yeah, we went out to dinner and it was awesome. And
They had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. And
They're halfway to marriage.
Stop it.
So you went to a movie. Did you do anything after?
No, we went to the movie. So that was the first date. We went to dinner. Second date, we went to the movie. And it was awesome because she was like, "Let's go to this like dive bar movie theater. It's $5.50 on Tuesday nights for a movie." And I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm down."
That's awesome.
It's pretty much the only way you're going to get me to a movie theater. Because, I mean, to spend $12 on a ticket, it's like, dude, I have a 70-inch screen right in front of me at home.
Yep.
Right. I totally agree.
But let me tell you something. Yeah. This podunk, ghetto-ass, broke-ass movie theater has it figured out.
Okay.
They have it figured out. Best movie experience I've ever had, especially on a date. So let's just start here. How do you feel about a date at a movie? How do you feel about movies as a setting for a date, going to a movie, Belly?
I usually don't do that kind of thing within the first 3 dates.
Tell us why.
Because it's a no talking experience. Most of the time, a no talking experience.
Exactly. And any other reasons, Potz?
Movies.
I mean, that would have been first and foremost my same reasoning.
You can't talk. You're just kind of sitting there, and you need a level of comfort. Like, put it this way. Perfect example. Before Belly and I lived together, before he was my roommate, we would finish a show. We would go out, and I would we would be doing the editing and like throwing it up on YouTube and all over the internet. And Billy and I would just be sitting there talking while we were doing it because I think we were like uncomfortable with silence together. Now, after today's show, guaranteed we're going to go out there. We probably won't say a word for 30 minutes, and we'll just be both on our computers because we're comfortable and we know we don't need to fill silence. It's okay. I'm doing this. You're doing this. That's a level of comfort there. I've noticed that. I notice it with all kinds of people. So I'm not just like.
No, with me, it's people don't have to say anything to me. I could just sit in silence.
But when you're like, if you don't know that about you, then I might feel like, oh, is he like, think that I'm like ignoring him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to go to a movie with a date on date 3 and like have like that silence. So this movie theater, first of all, not only did it have recliners, full couches, amazing.
It's like made for hooking up, right?
It's not for hooking up, but it's what it is. It's a good point. And that also got me thinking, like,
did they give you a blanket?
No, but it's like, did somebody in the movie before hook up on this couch?
Can you bring a blanket?
I'd probably say yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think they
movie
mind.
theaters are cold, so people probably.
But here's what the best thing was. I think they probably only had seating in this entire theater. I mean, this one, theater 4 or wherever we were at, theater 3.
Yeah,
probably 30 people it could have fit. 30 people. They took a couch, and then they had another couch 15 feet away. And then they had some recliners 15 feet away from that. Everybody had a 15-foot radius. It was amazing. You can talk to each other throughout the entire thing in a whisper, and no one can hear you. So it eliminated the whole, hey, shut up, we can't talk to each other. We're making comments to each other. We're laying on the couch. We're not stuck in one position, so we're getting sore. I'm literally like laying on her. She's laying on me. We're making comments.
Does the couch have recline, like a recliner option? Where
it didn't, but it had a coffee table, so I had footrests. Like, life was good, man.
What? It had a coffee table?
It had a coffee table. I felt like I was in my living room, and I could make comments. I'm not going to hook up in a movie theater. That's not something I'm down with. But everything else, like, oh, wow, they figured it out. Give me space so that even if it's recliners, if there's another recliner right next to me, I got to zip it. I got to be quiet. It's not an experience. But this was nice.
Have either one of you ever got a handsy or a blowy in a movie theater?
Never.
No.
No thanks.
Oh.
Not
Have
my
you?
Style for the public
Just
place.
me?
Just
Not
me.
a blowy. I'd be a little too stressed out for that. A handsy, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably not as adventurous as, like, I like to enjoy it. I don't want to have to stress out. I did have sex in the back of like a Bed Bath and Beyond, and like it was cool to say we did it, but it was like really stressful because you're like looking on both sides of the aisle. Someone's gonna come. Like, I mean, we're like completely out in the open. I'm sure it's on a security camera.
Have you ever walked out of a movie? Have you ever walked out of a movie that you've paid for?
Times.
Tell me which one.
Multiple
Why?
times. I don't even remember because that's why I walked out. They were so shit. I probably would have even remembered the name the next day. I mean, but I've definitely done it on more than one occasion for sure.
Only once for me.
I don't have patience.
Pot's saying that stuff about. I mean, maybe I have because maybe in one of my first relationships back when it was early days.
Yeah.
I probably did something like old-fashioned style, way in the back of a movie theater.
Dry hump.
Yeah. I was just thinking that's why I wouldn't provide
OTPHJs.
blankets if I was the place, because it would be like just
You got to have the
Covered it.
OTPHJs.
OTPHJs.
That's the perfect place for those.
Oh, if you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google it. Belly, take us to break. I want to do something fun when we get back here. Actually, just be ready for it, if you will. So, Potz, something special for you coming after the break. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but I do want to just say how proud I am of you from last show.
What was that?
You had the line of your life last show, and I thought it was really funny. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, we give touchdowns. Can you give a touchdown for us, Potz? Touchdown! When you hear that sound, that means that we all agree that was probably your best line of the show. That was you score. You did a great job. You made all three of us laugh. And Potz had a line that he delivered last show very well with perfect comedic timing. But the best thing about it is that it's really hard as a guest, and I only know this because I did a guest spot on a different podcast not too long ago. It is really hard to listen to who's talking, then think immediately of a line that's really funny, and you know it's gold, but the host or whoever is still talking, and now you got to hold on to it and it's until it's the perfect time. And that's hard, while still listening and making sure that when you say it, it's still relevant.
Well, and I'm on a 1 second delay, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about comedic timing, it's huge.
Yeah, Potts hits it right on the head most of the time.
Well, luckily for me, I'm doing all my ghosting on Tinder.
That was his line. Okay, so that was his line that scored him a touchdown. And now, without the context, it's not amazing, but I just wanted to point out that I went back.
Still pretty good.
It is good. Because we were talking about the afterlife and what happens when you die, and I saw it in the playback. I went back in and listened and watched the show, and I saw the moment on Potts' face that he thought of it. And it was about a minute and a half before he delivered.
Well, luckily for me, I'm doing all my ghosting on Tinder.
And then, of course, immediately he gets a touchdown because of how great it was. So what we're going to do is we're going to say thank you to Potts for his amazing progression in what he's doing. I see it. I saw that, and it was phenomenal. So, Belly, take us to break. When we come back, I have a present for Potts to say thank you. And hopefully he enjoys it, and then we'll get into Belly's ridiculous comment as a bartender to a couple on a first date. I can't believe he said it. This kid's out of his mind.
Nah, deserve it. They deserve it.
We'll do it next. It's Lucdogg in the morning.
At litmradio.com.
Restaurant puts a unique twist on fast casual dining by starting with only the freshest ingredients to slow-cook delicious melodies of tastes and colors that are sure to delight your senses. Whether you're craving the Chipotle pulled pork sliders, honey basil chicken tacos, or the infamous kitchen sink wrap, Marinate has something for everybody with tons of vegetarian options too. It's the perfect choice of catering for your offices or events with fast and friendly service from a brand new store on Melrose and Wester. Stop by today, or you can order online at marinateyourlife.com.
Yay for Taco Tuesday! Don't forget, buy one, get one free. All damn day!
Tacos, wraps, sliders, and sides. Slow cooked to perfection at Marinate Restaurant. marinateyourlife.com.
Do you want to learn how to defend yourself efficiently with your handgun? Or use pepper spray with the confidence of real-life training? How about develop an actionable home defense plan? Innovative Defensive Solutions offers realistic personal defense training both in Manassas and Doswell. IDS Training also travels nationwide to host range and classroom locations. Since 2003, IDS Training has been teaching people to improve their safety through contextually accurate and realistic personal defense training, including concealed carry permit courses, pepper spray courses, beginner firearm safety, and of course defensive firearm training. So head over to innovative-defensivesolutions.com or call 571-535-4437 with promo code LUCH, that's LUC, and get 20% off their coursework. You can also find IDS on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with the handle at IDS Training. Innovative Defensive Solutions, making you safer through realistic firearm training. Real training for real life. innovative-defensivesolutions.com.
Well, luckily for me, I'm doing all my ghosting on Tinder. Well, luckily for me, I'm doing all my ghosting on Tinder. Ghosting. Tinder. Well, luckily for me, I'm doing all my ghosting on Tinder. Ghosting. Tinder. Ghosting. Tinder. Go fuck yourselves. Ghosting. Go fuck yourselves. Tinder. Go fuck yourselves. Ghosting. Go fuck yourselves. I'm doing all my ghosting on Tinder. Ghosting. Tinder. Ghosting. Go fuck yourselves. Ghosting. Tinder. Ghosting. Tinder. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. You can kindly go fuck yourselves.
Welcome back, folks.
Can you please cut that out of this episode and make that into a song we can play?
I certainly can. Potz, that's for you, bud.
That was amazing. The live mix. Dude.
Yep.
That was all being done live.
DJ Lucio. There you go.
DJ Lucio.
So well done. When you earn it on this show, you get rewarded. So that was funny.
That was really good.
Last show. Go back and listen to that last show. He really killed it. So all right, let's do this thing. Belly, what happened? Okay, so Potz, you know that Belly is a bartender at, we're not going to say where technically, but we're clear to tell this story on air, correct?
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe we're clear to tell this story on air, Potz.
So I get a lot of first dates at my restaurant. And this may have not been a first date. It may have been like a first to third. It's obviously somewhere where they met online. The girl was actually older than the guy. I get a lot of information. But throughout the date, I'm hearing their conversation. I will tell you all now. If you are talking at the bar, there is likely a chance the bartender has heard at least some snippet of your conversation.
The bartender, the doorman, any of these people who are working in, oh, by the way, sober when you're not, we all hear you. The DJ, I can hear you from across the dance floor.
And if you're even if you're sober at a bar, you can hear other people's conversations a lot at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
but before we do this, you would imagine, as Belly as the bartender, wouldn't you prefer to have him as your bartender, almost as your wingman, if you're on a date, Potz? Like, he would be ideal for us as a bartender.
I usually am. I'm usually all in on helping out the dude when they're on a date.
Okay. So, with that being said, how is this date going that you're watching?
For me, it's going fine. I mean, obviously the girl's into him. She actually made the first move about the second drink in. She kissed him. That's how much I noticed throughout the...
Cheek?
No. Full-on lips.
Ooh.
Yeah,
was
she
this
made
a
the
first
move
date?
first.
Yeah, what do you think? First date?
No, so it's not a first date for sure because there's something said at the end of the conversation that was a punch. That's more of a punchline.
Oh my God, that's right. All right, so let's go to the part where you are talking. So basically, this date, this guy's a douchebag.
He's being a douche.
He's being a douche the whole time.
One of the phrases I heard during the date is, "Well, if you play your cards right tonight, maybe you'll get lucky." And this is coming from the dude, not the female.
And the female's attractive.
And the female's attractive, tall, blonde, nice, fit physique.
Is he attractive? What's he look like? Is this guy like a garden gnome, or is he like a Brad Pitt? What are we looking at?
For a guy, he's not unattractive. His ears are out to here, but
so he doesn't deserve. If you're lucky and play your cards right, you'll end up in my bed later.
And there's also conversations I hear where he says something that obviously offends her or she doesn't get, and he's like, "I'm joking, obviously." You know, he uses that like, "Oh, well, you know, I'm just telling a joke. I had to say it. It's so
dismissive,
funny."
Very dismissive, and just like, "Whoa, I guess clearly you don't get it."
Yeah, basically.
Right, like you're dumb for not understanding my stupid joke.
And throughout the whole time, she's still interested. And and not only that, Potz, here's a little more context. I started their check at 6:58 p.m. It shows me what time I start checks. Mm-hmm. They left at 1:50. They closed their check at 1:30. They were there for almost
what was their total check?
8 hours. $101. $106.70.
Why don't you ask them how they handled the check?
So it comes down to check time. So I like to give a little heads up before last call.
Hold on, Belly. Hold on. I'm just saying There's no way you would expect this out of my man Belly Balls over here. When he told me this story, my jaw dropped and I'm not trying to oversell and underdeliver here. I can't believe these words came out of your mouth. I can't believe a bartender would say something like this.
Well,
I'm shocked.
I had the assist.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
I had the assist because the girl set me up.
Right.
When someone sets me up, I'm gonna spike it down in
You're
the
gonna
face.
knock it out of the fucking park.
Hell yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Lucdogg in the morning style. So what happened?
I give them the 15-minute warning. I say, hey guys, think about a last round. You got one. I can give you one more round for sure. I'm going to do last call soon. About 10 minutes later, I'm walking by, and he goes, yeah, I think we'll get the checks. You can split it. And right there, I'm like, really? Gonna split? And she's like, yeah, obviously he's not that into me.
Is it crazy that he actually questioned the guy splitting the check?
Oh.
If a bartender, if you asked for a split check on a date and the bartender said, really? Wouldn't you be furious? I'd be like, fuck you, dude.
It's see, here's my dilemma, because obviously, at Marinate, we actually get a lot of couples, and it is, when we first opened, it was so awkward for me to say together or separate, because they're standing right there, and to be honest, and I'm glad they, it's like, you should tell the cashier. Don't make them fucking ask you. It's like, together or separate, and like you're standing there and like, oh, are we paying together? And it's like this whole thing. Now I don't care. I'm just like, together, separate, literally, because I don't care, because it's obvious that most people have no social etiquette and don't get that, like, you should be telling the cashier. You shouldn't wait for him to ring the whole thing up and then to like ask you, oh, can you split it? And it's like, I mean, guys, we're just talking about Marinate, like a Chipotle style thing. $10 max.
Split checks
per
can be
person.
the bane of your
Isn't like
existence.
$100 check, and even this is like not only a pet peeve, but just such a socially awkward situation for a cashier. That's like just like, tell me what what you.
But wait a minute. But even if that is the case, are you telling me you would question somebody splitting a check?
Okay, I'm questioning it because
I've
they
asked
spent
more than once.
I question it because they spent 8 hours at my bar. She makes the move first.
Belly,
She's
I
obviously
spent 8
interested.
hours at a bar, and the girl.
Everything about it says, you know what? I'm paying the check. She's had a great. If he had a good time, if you had a good time, you paying for the bill?
Of course I am.
You paying for the bill?
Even if I'm not on a first date, I probably will.
What fucking asshole is not paying for the bill when they spent 8 hours at my goddamn bar?
Do you remember a story that I told you not very long ago where I spent at least 4 to 5 hours and the girl left me in the bathroom?
Yeah, well, that's different. You have to pay the check because she fucking left.
But that's what I'm saying. Belly.
It's not like you can split a check with a ghost because you got ghosted.
But my point.
Ghosting.
It's basically. Listen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're done now. But what I'm saying is, don't you think that the bartenders at that point thought we were having a good old time? We were there for 4 or 5 hours.
No, obviously not.
A good bartender would have known. He would have been eavesdropping properly.
It's so true. It was so obvious we were having a nightmare date. I actually asked the bartender to help me get out of it. So you're right. But I'm just saying, just because they're there for a long time doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to pay for it.
I'm hearing the whole conversation. She's interested. She's been very conversational.
Did you say that out of anger for him?
Oh, yeah. I was definitely.
You were mad at him.
I was mad at him.
You were
I
mad
wanted
at
him to pay the bill. And he's also, not only that, all night, whenever I'm trying to interact with them, he's giving me half-ass answers.
Oh,
and here's the thing. Here's right where it triggered me.
Yep.
I say, all right, do you guys want to just split it right down the middle? And he goes, no, I want to split it down the sides.
What a dick. Like, what a dick.
And I'm like, all right, I'm asking you if you want the stuff you had on your own check, or you guys just want to split it 50-50.
What did he decide? Do you remember?
I got to decide.
Itemized check? Because if you go itemized check, that is literally saying I have no interest in this person across from me.
So here's what I did, Potz. I said, well, then I guess I get to choose. And I turn around and I start splitting the check. And I split all her drinks, which were wines and more expensive, onto one, and all his drinks, which are beers, and all on one. This is only a $10 difference in check, and I swiped his card for her bill, and I swiped her card for his.
Bam. And he left him.
He left
for the tip. What did you get tipped on $100?
And then he throws a $5 bill on his $58 tab down at the bar, and then I laugh out loud, audibly.
Yeah, good. I'm my jaw. You can't see what just dropped when you said that $5. And for the record, and people are like, at this point, it doesn't even matter what your bill is. You are paying for the real estate, and you're paying whether the bar is empty or not. I really don't give two shits. If you're sitting at someone's bar for 8 hours, you're paying for the real estate.
This was also a day
completely unacceptable.
What does he mean? Real estate of being able to stand in the bar? That the real estate of
sitting at a bar for 8 hours, assuming there's more than just them sitting at the bar. You're paying for real estate. Yeah, this guy Belly is making money. He can only make a certain amount of money based on the chairs at the bar. So either if you're not drinking, you're not making money. So it's like get up or get out. And I guarantee 8 hours of drinking beer is not going to cut it.
Well, would you guys have been mad on this first date that I went on? Would you guys have been mad? We probably sat for 3.5 or almost 4 hours at a table in a restaurant, a very nice, a decent restaurant. We're talking $15, $20 entrees. It's not a Chipotle. It's an actual restaurant. Sure. But we sat in this guy's table in his section when it was like 5:15 and it was dead. And I said to him, look, dude, we're going to start off with some waters and a coffee. We'll probably end up getting an appetizer, maybe a beer and an entree later. Is that all right with you? Like, should we go to the bar? I was being nice. I was telling him, I'm setting you up for saying we're going to be here for a while. And his response was like, I know it kind of has to be, but it was like, dude, look, he looked around at nobody sitting anywhere. And he was like, dude, the whole place is yours, man. You guys stay as long as you want. Take your time. I got you.
Oh, yeah.
But it got really busy in about an hour, and we were we were still there, and then all those people left, and a new group of people came in, and we were still there, and we hadn't even ordered dinner yet.
That's a problem.
Are you getting mad at me?
That's exactly that's exactly what I'm saying, that you can only make a certain amount of money based on table turns. It's the same thing.
And I tipped him like 30%, 25%. I tipped him really well.
You understand that.
Hey, you're paying.
So that's okay, as long as you tip well.
Yeah, you're paying for the real estate. Just what I said. It doesn't matter what your bill is. You're paying for the fact that you've just sat through 3 table turns that this guy could have been making money.
Yeah, and especially so another thing I see a lot on first dates, when the initial meetup doesn't go well, when as soon as they finish that first round, one of the party says, "No, I'm good," for their second drink.
Yeah, because that's just when I'm getting lubed up. I'm like, chicka, 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 like, choo-choo, all aboard, we're getting shit-faced.
Right. Potz, have you been on a date where you can't drink lately?
I haven't been on a date no, I take that back. I've been on one date in months. Did I tell you this story? Ooh. I went on a date. The only date I've been on in probably 3 months at least was with a girl that I met at traffic court. And we went out, had a blast. Of course we were drinking. And literally, girls... She talks about how she's like, oh, I don't ghost. I just think it's so disrespectful. Like, why can't you just say, I'm not into this? I'm like, yeah, I'm ghosting all the time, but I'm trying to stop doing it. It's a bad habit. And this fucking girl ghosted me the next day.
No, get out of here. Are you serious?
She completely ghosted me. I was just like, we had such a good time. And so I was like, whatever. And we met I picked her up at traffic court. I was macking.
What were you doing at traffic court?
Yeah, what'd you get? What's the ticket?
Crossing a double yellow line and having expired registration. And she was up for crossing a double yellow line. So I was like, oh my God, it's like love at first sight.
It's kismet.
There you go. We're meant to be.
And I picked her up in line while we were waiting to pay the cashier. And I just started rapping with her. It was really awesome. But I was super into it just because it was the first girl I'd gone out with, meeting her just naturally as opposed to an app. So I thought it was going to be different. It wasn't.
Belly, do you need a drink on a date?
Depends on the time.
Nighttime, happy hour-ish.
Yes. Get a drink.
So when we went on this drink,
Unless
and I'm not,
drink.
I hope, if she's listening or anybody who's I've ever dated or is interested in dating me, I don't kiss and tell typically on the air. That's not cool. I will tell very basic details of stories that I think are funny, or just entertaining and interesting. And she cut herself. She had a cut that she had to take antibiotics for just to make sure it didn't get infected. And she just was coming from that appointment. So she couldn't drink for that night.
That's fine.
Which I was fine with. I'm just curious how your guys' mindset would be. I still got a beer with dinner, but I waited for about 2 hours. Seriously, we had coffee and water for 2 hours, and then the entree came and I got a beer.
Honestly,
but
sometimes no drinking on a date is actually not a bad idea.
it was nice. I'm not going to lie to you.
Have you ever gotten too drunk on a first date?
Wait. First of all, that's a very good question. Before you do that, you said you hate it, Potz?
Yeah, I always have to drink on a first date, on really any date for that matter. Unless like even if we're going to the movies, we'll usually I'll either smoke or take a few shots. When I first started online dating, I took 2 shots of tequila before I even left my apartment. 1 to get lubed up, 2 to sit because I am a notorious I slug drinks back, so to kind of slow me down a bit. It didn't work. I realized if I take 2 shots, it actually just speeds me up.
I was gonna say you're just 2 shots drunker by the time you get there. That's all.
Because I'm shot out of a cannon already. So that didn't work, but it was fun.
But that is a good point. Watching because I just drink drinks fast, not beer. I don't drink a lot. But if you put a beer in front of me, it's probably going to be gone pretty quickly because I'm. It's something I do in between. Like you see me,
guy chugs coffee.
I chug coffee. I sit here and I chug coffee, and then I go, oh, and Belly goes, just drink it slower.
It's hot.
Right.
It's hot. But I have on the show a habit of anytime I say something and then I end it and then it goes to you guys, I pick up a drink to force myself to stop talking.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
It helps. And I think people do that. I personally do it because when I'm on a date, it's basically like running a radio show. I'm making sure that I'm not talking too much. I'm trying to make sure they get time. Yeah. I want to hear from them. I want to make sure I'm listening. I'm entertaining.
And that's really smart. And if you're if there's an awkward pause or you need a beat, it's good to do that because it's an acceptable awkward pause because obviously you have a drink in your hand.
But now my drink is going down way faster, and I've actually thought about that. If I took a shot or 2 beforehand, well, maybe I'll be a little loose. But yeah, then I'm just going to be hammered after the first real drink at dinner.
Right. Yeah.
So no bueno. But yes, did you ever get too drunk on a date, Belly? Since you posed the question, that's a good one for you.
I've definitely gotten a little too loose on a first date before, for sure. Where I was actually, what really happened was I was fine, but she was late. And she texted me. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This never happens, but I'm running late." And
she was late.
And then I'm like, by the time she gets there, I'm like 4 drinks deep.
Oh no! Well, how long was she? How late was she? Because it might be an acceptable answer here.
Like 45.
Yeah,
minutes.
I give it acceptable.
You had 4 drinks in 45 minutes. Maybe. I mean, I could do it, but that's
well. Now that she's late, I'm slugging them back.
I'm saying it's acceptable for you to have those drinks and to be a little bit tipsy because she's 40 minutes late.
45 minutes late.
Averaging 1 drink every 11
No, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. But when you're sitting by yourself at a bar, which actually, no, because you're pretty seasoned at that. You're very comfortable by yourself
I'm very
at a bar.
comfortable.
A lot of people would feel awkward and just start slamming drinks.
Yeah.
But you're very comfortable. I would. I know I would just sitting there.
It was a day off. It was one of my days off, I'm not, and then I was somewhere where I enjoy being. So it was one of those places where I would go here by myself and do this exact thing.
Right.
But this time I'm actually meeting someone.
Well, what's the cutoff of how long somebody is late before you walk out? It's like the professor being 5 minutes late in college. Everybody's like, I got 5 minutes. I'm out.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I'm fine sitting somewhere by myself.
Yeah, but you're hammered now.
Well, yeah, that didn't work out too well for me on the date, but it worked out well for me on the day.
Right.
What if, and I'm not going to say that this has happened to anybody in this room, but what if, let's go that route. What if, Belly, you were on a date, and the date says to you, her name, and then your last name, and then says, oh, I could totally get down with that.
If it's the second date, no way, Jose. That's a little too crazy.
Did this happen to one of us? Who knows?
Yeah, it definitely did.
I'm not talking about me. I'll put that out there.
Yeah,
not talking about me because I'd be running right out the door.
I guess it's I'm the only one left.
I think we're long enough away from the story and so much gone where I think it's tellable now.
So I went out on a date recently. It was the second time we had ever gone out after the first time we had gone out was almost a month and a half before this.
Potz, imagine going out on a first date with a girl and then thinking that it was like a ghost or just a whatever. And then like a month and a half later, you just go out again. Oh, wow, we did rekindle.
That's happened to me. Not that far apart, but that's happened to me for sure.
What really happened was in between the first and the second, we ran into each other at a bar.
Did I know this? Oh, wow.
So in between the first and the second date, we ran into each other at a bar. And we started talking, and we're like, hey, where do I recognize you from? Oh, yeah, we went out one time, a long time ago. And she says, during that time where she saw me, oh, I remember that. We actually had a good time. Why didn't we do that again? I wonder why.
We'll tell you the rest of the story about how she's going to take his last name, or maybe she'll never see him again. We'll do that next. Holy shit, we are way past the break. I only got 14 minutes left with the people. This is going to be a fast one. We'll be back in just a second. It's Lucdogg in the morning.
At litmradio.com.
What's up, y'all? It's Maddie Mads here. This show is sponsored by TTR Studios. Whether it's weddings, parties, karaoke, audio, video production, and all your entertainment needs, call TTR Studios, LLC at 703-850-2223 or check them out at ttrevents.com. Start the show, Luch.
Lucdogg in the morning.
Go fuck yourselves.
I can't get enough of that. Welcome back, folks. It is Lucdogg in the morning. Thanks for hanging out with us, of course, on a beautiful Wednesday morning. We're doing this thing. We are airing Belly's laundry here because it's funny, and I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I don't think you're ever going to see this girl again.
Most likely no.
However,
if she's watching today, hi.
Hi. Good to see you. So remember, you can catch us anywhere that you can get podcasts. It is Lucdogg in the morning, Lucdogg. Thank you for hanging out with us on TTR Studios, the channel on YouTube. Growing by the day, which is really exciting, so thank you. And here's the thing. I need to ask you guys for a little bit of help. If you can, if you like what we're doing here, I don't need your dollars, okay? All we have ever said is that we want your attention, not your money. I don't want to get in your pocket. I want to be in your brain. So that's true. However, it would also help if you could maybe just leave a review on iTunes. That'd be awesome.
Leave a review on iTunes.
Subscribe on YouTube. That'd be awesome.
And don't just subscribe on YouTube. Also click that little bell right next to the subscribe button, and then you will get a notification every time we go live instead of only sometimes.
I just hate saying all this crap. Every single fucking YouTube video I see now. I'll leave a link in the description below.
Comment.
And make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification. It's like, God,
but dude,
enough.
Dude, I own Marinate, and we're on Yelp. Well, I mean, like every restaurant or whatever. But we ask everyone that, because we are a fairly new business, we ask everyone that comes, how did you hear about us? Like literally 80% of people say Yelp.
Wow.
So, I mean, and on Yelp we have 5 stars. We're up to 90 reviews, and we've noticed an increase that people are rounding up. They're like, yeah, you have about 100 reviews, 5 stars. Like literally we had a couple come in yesterday, and they're like, we've never seen that. We've never seen someone with 100 reviews that had such a high rating. And that's the only reason they came in. So, it goes a long way. And quite frankly, it's really scary to think what could happen to our business if we didn't have 5 stars, or if Yelp went down for, a week. We'd be screwed, because we get a ton of tourists and out-of-towners that have no idea where to eat. And when you type in tacos anywhere within a few mile radius, we come up, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
Crazy. And we, because we make kick-ass tacos too, but so
you're in Southern California, people are looking for tacos.
Trying to say, and honestly, when I'm looking at new podcasts, I do look at the reviews, and so it
would
does
really
help if you guys could leave a few.
It would really just be a huge help if you can do something for us. It doesn't cost you a penny, just maybe 20 seconds of your time. Just hop in and leave a review, or at least subscribe on YouTube. From the Social Media Lounge, man, why don't we have that kind of theater around here? I had a dude take me to Twilight for our first date. It was a poor choice. Why did you stay 5 hours if the date was terrible? A dude did that to me in December. Talked all about communication, then never spoke to me again. So everybody's doing the ghosting. What, Belly?
So have you guys ever heard of the movie The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
Yeah. I remember the books.
One of my buddies did not read the books or know anything about the books. Took a first date to that movie.
Oh my God! It's about rape.
It is not
the rape scene. The rape scene in that movie makes you really feel they do a good job of what they're doing. It makes you feel like you're in the room, and it is awful.
It is terrible.
It is terrible.
It is not going to make
do a good job
anyone
of raping.
feel.
Is that what
No,
you're
they
saying?
portray the entire scene. You don't get to turn your head away unless you're actually like blindfold yourself. But if you're looking at the screen, you're watching rape on a movie.
Well,
Yeah.
Can we just say, Belly's rule, you should not be going on a movie within the first 3 dates, period.
Unless,
ever.
not false. I
it
did
sounds
it.
like you had fun, Luch, but I still would not have recommended it until,
But spooning led to.
because, again,
Hold
you're
on.
talking about a somewhat intimate situation where, like, you could put your head in her lap or vice versa, and like, I don't know. You need to be at a certain level for that.
I don't agree.
This movie
because I'm
sounds
telling
like
you,
someone's garage. This movie theater sounds like in someone's setup in a garage.
I swear to God, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was in a really rich person's nice theater house, but they didn't take care of it, so there was like popcorn everywhere.
Right.
That's what it felt like. You know, you get to the couch that you're going to sit on, you wipe the popcorn off the seat. You
The
sit down.
counter happens to have a microwave and it's in a kitchen.
Oh, for sure. They just have a box. They literally have like a 24-pack of Bud Light bottles on the counter, and they're like, "That's the bar."
It's on ice. No need for ID here. We don't have a liquor license.
Right.
So, do you guys? We've got to finish Belly's story. I also. Okay, go ahead.
Are we finishing up what?
Where you were with the name? She said the last name.
Oh yes.
On the date.
So this is the second date. We meet out. And, I hate putting anyone on blast like this. I mean, obviously, it's not that she was a bad person.
No, she didn't
do anything
very
negatively.
Nice girl.
Very nice
much
girl.
Much respect for her.
It's just, some people fall hard for the belly. Luckily, it's soft to land on. But, I wasn't feeling it too much into the date. And then right when she said that, it was just like...
What did she say? Tell us what she said.
She basically goes, hey, what's your last name?
LaBelle.
Right. And I say it, LaBelle. And then she proceeds to say her first name, my last name, out loud.
So let's just say her name is Katie. She's like, Katie LaBelle.
And then says, I could work with that.
It's just crazy. I mean,
It's not. It is, but it's not. Maybe
what did you say, Belly?
Yeah, what did you say?
I said, I don't remember saying anything. All I remember doing is being like, oh. And then like turning and looking at the TV.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I need a drink.
Yeah. It was basically
40 minutes later, he's 4 drinks slammed.
No, I was fine that night.
Oh my God.
I was much more responsible.
Well, I had the same conversation on date 1. What do you think about that? You think about that?
I was going to say, I could see.
Oh, yeah. And I
had
don't have
the
a problem
same
saying it.
Except you were like, my last name's Carluccio. What? Katie Carluccio.
No. But even better. Let's say her name was Scarletta. I'd be like, "What's your last name?" She's like Scarletta, and I'm like, Adam Scarletta.
Wow, now that's intense. That's intense. If the guy is like, ooh, that last name, I could work with that.
Mrs. Adam Scarletta.
Now, do you guys
make such a pretty house?
No. Let me just put out how it happened, because this was, I think, a little bit more appropriate than what your girl did.
Well, do you know what my last name means in French?
I don't.
Does anyone know La Belle in French?
Oh, I can guess. Is it something with beautiful?
Belle.
Beautiful.
Bella is beautiful. Yeah. There you go.
You figured it out.
So what happened to me was actually a lot better, and this was, I think, this is how you do it. Yeah. But this was a way where it wasn't awkward, and I think that's a good juxtaposition, because the way she did it was about as poor as it gets, unless you are absolutely positive that he is also into you, in that level of into you, right?
Right. Then it's game on.
Game on. But
I mean, no one's that into you on date 2.
I'm talking date 1 now. So here's what happened.
Well, being that into you has to be a 2-way street. Like,
right.
Into you. So
if
I was into her, maybe it wouldn't have weirded me out.
The girl that I went on a date with is Potz, you'll appreciate this. Italian on Italian dating is ideal in the Italian family. Right. It's like the Indian culture, where the Indian culture is very big on wanting their kids to marry another Indian person or person from India. Same deal goes for Italy. Boy, would my parents be happy if I met a nice Italian girl. And same for her, except for a guy. So we were talking, because she's got a full-on Italian name. My last name is Carluccio. Now, I said, how did this come up? She said, we were just talking last names. And she said, oh, you have a really cool one. She also has one like that that's really neat and really beautiful. And I said, she said, I have told guys before, not happening. All right, maybe she said, I told my mom, I'm not taking a guy's name unless it's a really good Italian name. Like the kids can have his name, all of it. But I ain't giving up mine unless his is better. And I thought that was really funny. And then I thought in my head, she probably wouldn't say that to me unless she's digging mine. So I just said, so does mine pass the test? Or like, where does that stand? Because Carluccio's pretty badass. And she goes, oh, mwah, passes the test.
Okay.
That's a good way to do it.
That's not a bad. See, that's the conversation
the
of
flirty way to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
not asking me.
Good job, Luch. That is completely out of character for you to come up with a line that's because it's kind of funny too. So like, I give you props.
You say that, but Luch can be fairly smooth when he needs to be.
I thought you were gonna blast me.
No, he thought he was gonna get blasted. I'm giving him props. I'm trying to back him up.
Appreciate it.
The thing is with Luch, he's not scared to take risks when he by saying something and 9 times out of 10 it's gonna come across as wrong, or he's gonna sound silly or desperate or
pathetic.
But thank you very much.
But it's that one that he's looking for.
When you hit that home run, then it's like it was worth all the 9 shitty ones. So like that, and that was a good one.
Describe your baseball career
it's my baseball career. I was 0 for May, but you know what? When I connected, boy, I got a hold of it.
There you go.
I got a hold of it.
You're out.
And also, by the way, that's very funny. You're making a joke, but you're right. I think that is true, and it's a compliment and a joke, and I appreciate it. But I think the people who are, if you look at millionaires who made it big, look at all their stories. Do you know how many times they failed before one of them hit? It's the same mindset. Just don't be afraid of failure.
I'm in the middle of that right now.
What?
Failure is giving up.
I'm in the middle of that right now. You've got like sumo salad at my last restaurant was a massive fail, and you can either stand up, dust the shirt off your shoulders, and go, or just be miserable. And I like how resilient you are in the dating world. So, because dating sucks. So it's like whatever, man. Like it's such a pain in the ass.
As long as you're not ghosting. Good luck. Luckily, I get all my ghosting done on Tinder. Touchdown!
Nope. Can't steal others' touchdowns.
Oh, that was really good. I had fun with you guys today. Thanks for hanging out. We'll do this again on Friday, and I will tell you about the girl on the dance floor I was attracted to the entire time until I found out while I was leaving, well, that's a dude.
I was just going to say she had a dick as a joke.
What? That happened. I thought of it with 8 minutes left. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to have to tease tomorrow.
Because I've got stories about transgender. I mean, I've hooked up with transgender.
We'll do it all on Friday. It's all coming next. So what do you got for us, Potz? Go ahead, Potz. What do you got to leave us with?
I think I just left it with
Get out of here, Potz. Get him out of here. He's out of here. Go out of here. Go back to marinate. You did great today, brother. Well done. Belly, what do you got left for the people?
No, I didn't have a threesome.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We will see you on Friday morning at 10 a.m. It's Lucdogg in the morning.
At litmradio.com.